Well, Solstice is finally upon us, and I was seriously expecting the event to be broken in some way. And when I say broken, I don't mean there will be an easy method to farm silver leaves, because let's face it, things like that will always be lurking somewhere. I meant a Festival of the Lost level of broken, where players who had completed the event the year prior really couldn't progress the quest at all, or even earn pages to work towards the seal. Obviously Bungie fixed it in like 2 days, but it stunned me to see how a copy and paste event could somehow break in such a strange way. Solstice, however, completely fine. I've not encountered any bugs so far, or anything that could be an issue with getting the pitiful glow on that armor. So here's the 2 issues that I have with Solstice this year, and the first is what I just said. The glow on the Solstice armor is absolutely pathetic. For some really strange reason, it's gone from really cool and over-the-top glows that have slowly been dialed down to what it is now, which is like a really shitty trim on the armor if anything. Like, I would have preferred it if the armor had stayed gold and the shaders changed the color trim that you have, so you could have like RGB shaders working on it as well. Because the only thing I look forward to in these events are the armor sets, and when they start getting weaker because of the design, I don't see a point in grinding activities for hours just to get the armor. Fortunately for Bungie, I've somehow regained my passion for playing the game, and I'm naturally just harvesting the silver leaves to a point where I'll run the activity just because it's okay at getting kills for some catalysts. The second issue I have with Solstice isn't that it's a repeat event. I actually quite like the design of the EAZ. Whilst Bungie could have definitely done more than just having the 3 taken spawn areas by utilising the rooftops much better, as well as the outlying floating islands like they did in the previous year. But the issue I have is the buffs for the duration of the event, most particularly the one called Flare. What Flare basically is a Diablo 4 ripoff of their Shrine's very own Blast Wave buff. From my perspective, it appears Bungie might be salty at Diablo 4's success, as a lot of players jumped ship over to that game when it first launched, and also for the first season as well. But back to the point, Flare, or Blast Wave, whatever you want to call it, is a buff that will periodically emit a pulse of energy that damages nearby enemies. I have no idea why Bungie added this apart from what I just mentioned, but the buff itself is practically pointless because it's only available in low tier PvE content and the Solstice event. Guardian Games has pretty much nailed the buffs when it comes to event time buffs, because you have one that increases your ability regen, and then you also have one that increases your weapon damage. It makes a lovely little 1-2 combo that makes things like the Vanguard Strike an absolute breeze to go through, and actually grinding them much more enjoyable. I don't see why Bungie couldn't just make a version of this for each event, because I genuinely don't think the player base would mind having buffs specifically for the events to make grinding the materials easier. That's basically the 2 issues I have with Solstice, but as a bit extra, something that they could implement that would be immensely cool, and just for Solstice, is if we had a new EAZ map. You could easily have the 2 maps as a rotator based on the day, or randomly like the Vanguard operations, and the reason why I'm saying specifically for Solstice is because the bonfire idea actually works really well as an event. So having a second map and actually adding some variety to the event would do it a lot of justice. Other than that, I actually like the design of the Solstice armor. Definitely gives me some Clockwork Knight kind of vibe, which is different and cool to me. But again, the glow is just lackluster and it lets it down. But apart from that, I'm going to keep grinding through my catalysts because I have a lot to do, and I'll probably end up unlocking all the Solstice armor glow anyway, even though I'm not going to use it because, again, the trim looks horrible. But as always, thank you very much for watching the video. Remember to leave a like and comment down below, and I shall see you all in the next one.